So, welcome back guys to another video. I figured you will like the really quick showcase for Forbidden Technique. So I think it's the best idea to make a full guide. Getting a lot of questions, what's a card, how to start, what abilities to use, what the rotation is, why I'm using poisons, and so on. So let's get into the video. Let's get some music going. Alright guys, it's all about Forbidden Technique this time. I will explain the RE real quick. You'll need Shadow Dance in order to use this legendary RE. And it basically transforms your Shadow Dance into Forbidden Technique. It's this ability, and it's projectile, so you, depending on the range to the target, you have a small window to use cooldowns. The ideal range would be around 30 to 25 yards. I have a little range timer on my target and on my mouse cursor as well, so I can always track what's the ideal range would be. But yeah, it's projectile, and it travels to the target, and as soon as it is at when it lands, you teleport behind the target. When this happens, you're at your current position. There will be a little shadow of yourself, and it will fire projectiles each time you cast ambush or any ability. Yeah, and then you teleport back to your shadow when the duration of Shadow Dance ends, and then you get buff. Each time you use an ability, an rage ability, you will shoot an extra projectile, another Shadow Dagger, the smaller one, and each time it hits, you also reduce the cooldown of Shadow Dance by 2 seconds. The bigger one is the one when you ambush, and the smaller one is the one when you're not in the ambush phase. Okay, then let's move on to the other REs I'm using. For Apex, I'm using Methodical Approach, so your ambush gets a little bit more oomph, and just warming up. That's why I'm using Explosive Shot. You can get this almost to 100% uptime, at least when you're not in your ambush phase. That's why I'm always using Explosive Shot right before I'm using Forbidden Technique. So I get the maximum duration for just warming up for the extra physical damage. The third epic RE would be here Focus Burst. So my multi-shot actually hits only one target, and all projectiles hits this target, so it's not in some sort of AoEs, it's purely single target. That's why we're using multi-shot. So it's actually fires 6 projectiles instead of 3. We're using Barrage for damage, and Improved Barrage for crit chance. When you get a good crit chance, you can swap these a little bit, so like 3 times Barrage and only 2 times Improved Barrage. I've played this spec a lot in Honor and Classic, but I'm not using it, I'm not playing it right now. So yeah, I'm not an expert for Forbidden Technique on TBC, but it's a really fun build, and in my opinion one of the strongest hunter builds, if not the strongest hunter build right now. And yeah, that's why I'm using and I'm showing you the whole build, and it's really a niche spec. There are like 3 people playing it in a more competitive environment in raids. I don't know why. I mean, it's really hard to roll, but it's really fun to play as well. People might be a little bit afraid because it's not really a hunter; it's a hybrid. Because you also are on melee range, and yeah. But yeah, let's move on. I'm also using hasty multi-shots because it smooths out the rotation a little bit. I only have for my fillers arcane shot. Maybe it's worth using aimed shot, but I don't have it rolled. And I'm not investing any more points in the spec since I'm not playing it and it's pretty decent rolled. I'm missing Hunter's Mark and maybe aim shot, but that's basically it. Maybe Avatar would be nice, but Avatar is sharing cooldown with Death Wish, so yeah, that I don't know. It's really good. Also, maybe an alternative would be Colossus Smash. So you use Forbidden Technique and use right after Colossus Smash and then start ambushing. But I don't know if it's worth the global cooldown or not. Let's move to the talents. In Hunter Tree, I've at the moment 1 point in Aspect Mastery. I don't know if it's really worth it. In Classic it was really good with the 2-piece of the Dragon Stalker, so you get a further increase of for your aspect of the Hawk. Goddamn. In Marksmanship Hunter lethal shots because I want my Shadow Daggers to get a really high crit chance because it's doing a lot of damage. Mortal shots, it's pretty much mandatory for crit damage. Careful aim is also mandatory and baseline in almost every hunter build. Barrage for damage, improved barrage for crit. Piercing shots for a little bit more bleed damage. Also, if you're lucky and roll Hunger for Bloods, please take it. It's really decent. I have it on other Forbidden Technique builds, but I have I don't have Pet on the other build, and Pet is really strong. We'll get into this later. But yeah, piercing shots will apply a bleed, and you will need a bleed on the target to enable Hunger for Blood. Hunger for Blood has 30 seconds cooldown, but with the cooldown reduction on Forbidden Technique, you can almost use it in every ambush phase, so I would really recommend getting this, but don't card it, maybe lucky card it out. Yeah, you only have like the chance from 60 to 70 to roll it from lucky cards, so good luck on that. Then Master Marksman for even more crit chance. Maybe swap out leaflet shots for Mark for Death if you all here also have Hunter's Mark. In Survivalist, I have 1 point in Lock and Load. This is the red bar you saw on the damage test. It smooths out the rotation a little bit, so you can use Explosive Shot a little bit more often throughout the hunt. Also, baseline every hunter build, as well as Expose Weakness for a more crit chance throughout the hunt is to reduce the cooldown of Explosive Shot a little bit, and it will get you a little bit more mana back, but that's not the point here. Master Marksman for even more damage, crit. 1 point in Hunting Party. In a raid with other people having replenishment, you won't need it. It's sniper training, that's why you want to stand still as much as possible to keep it up. You can train yourself to run a little bit, stand still, get the buff, run a little bit, stand still, get the buff. But don't be the PvP guy running, strafing left and right all the time, so you would miss out of the sniper training talent. It's really good. Explosive shot, because it's based on part of the rotation. Black arrow for a little bit more damage, and also to proc lock and load. And the rogue tree, I got lethality for more damage on ambush, and subtlety, opportunity for more ambush damage out of nowhere for more ambush damage and crit chance, so you get to 100% crit chance. In addition, you will need improved ambush for a little bit more crit chance, because it's mostly not enough only to run out of nowhere. Master of Subtlety, because you get the increased damage for physical attacks when your Shadow Dance ends. Deadliness for more AP, and Shadow Dance because it's mandatory for the build. And Shaman, I got Thundering Strikes for even more crit. The conversion for it from agility to spell crit is not really a thing here. In Fury Warrior, Death Wish and Rampage, but you don't really need Rampage, especially in raids when other people got Rampage. But yeah, I just rolled it on the way from 60 to 70, so I just kept it. For abilities, let's move on to abilities. Yeah, Arcane Shot, Aspect of the Hawk, Auto Shot, Black Arrow, then the whole pet stuff, some kind of combat drop is always nice. My new favorite combat drop is actually invisibility from Mage. But yeah, multi-shot, and then tracking mastery for, in some situations, just 1% more extra damage. If against humans you can't do anything for this, but yeah, it's an okay green. Mage got Blink, Pala got Divine Shield. In the Rogue tree you will need Ambush, the Shadow Dance and Poisons. I got a lot of questions why Poisons. Many new player don't know this. On Ascension you can put instant poison and I think crippling poison on your ranged weapon, and I'm using Rock Biter on my melee weapons. In the main hand you will need a dagger to use ambush, and your offhand weapon is just a stat stick. Okay. What else? Let's go to rotation. I will start off the fight with using explosive shot to get more stacks from just warming up, then use black arrow and multi-shot, and I want 5 stacks of just warming up before I use forbidden technique. So you start with explosive shot, black arrow, multi-shot, maybe a filler from with arcane shot if you cooldowns, your downtimes, so whatever, you know what I mean. If it's possible, then use explosive shot again to get 5 stacks of just warming up, and then use forbidden technique and start ambushing. All off global cooldowns you can use while ambushing or in the transition. If you're far enough away from the target, you can use Death Wish in between, but don't use Death Wish when you're already behind the target, because it's on global cooldown and it will waste 1 global for ambush. Yeah, and when you're out of the Shadow Dance, you go for explosive shots to get at least 4 stacks of forbidden just warming up, and then multi-shot. Try to get multi-shot out as quick as possible because of Master of Subtlety. It only lasts like 10 seconds, I think. Yeah. So you go for, yeah, explosive shot, multi-shot, then explosive shot again to get the 5th stack off just warming up, and then rinse and repeat till Forbidden Technique is ready again. So, why pet? You can start the safe route with using like Iceberg of the Hawk, Auto Shot, Hunter's Mark, and something else. Stealth, of course. And don't run pet, so you don't have to roll Hunter's Mark and Aspect of the Hawk and Auto Shots while leveling and later on. But I've started with Stealth and Tame Beast, because Tame Beast is strong for multiple reasons. For one, Culling the Hurt to get a little bit more crit, and Call of the Wild for an extra cooldown. And also it's a little bit more damage, just passive damage. It can be a little bit clunky and you have to control it in some raid situations, but that's just micromanagement. Okay, what I'm missing is step prior. On items I'm going for either attack power or agility and crit. Not really sure what's the absolute best stat priority is. I'm just guessing. So I ideally want agility on your gear, attack power, and crit chance, and also don't miss your hit cap. You need 8% in TBC, but you won't need the spell hit cap. Crit is really important. For sockets I'm going for agility. You can also use AP, but agility is, in my opinion, a little bit stronger. I can go over the gear real quick so you have an idea what my current power level is. Also now in chance right now, because I initially got this dagger for a stat stick and for another build, so... Okay, yeah. For skill cards I would go for Rockbiter Weapon, Shadow Dance, Explosive Shot, and maybe Hunger for Blood or Poisons. Check the build link, what's necessary. You will need, let's say, Explosive Shots, Shadow Dance, and what else? Maybe Death Wish and Rockbiter is pretty much mandatory, and for lucky skill cards you can go whatever. Just check the build link and prioritize what you think it's the best. It's really hard to roll when you start with stealth and pet anyway, so good luck on that. It took me like, I think, over 40 prestiges, but that was back then when you can get up from 1 to 60 in like 15 minutes with world buffs and so on. That was another time. Yeah, I think I covered everything I want to talk about, and if you have any further questions, let me know down in the comments or with me on Discord. I will leave you the link to the build in the video description, as well as a summary of all my Weakauras. Please keep in mind you will need the version 3.2.3. You can get this from Scala Add-ons Discord, or just direct mail me on Discord. I will send you the master file. But it's not really complicated Weakauras you will need for this build. It's just just warming up with explosive shot, and don't really need a Weakaura for this. Just spam explosive shot whenever ready. I got a little Weakaura for maybe lock and load, but you'll figure out when you can use explosive shot and why not. That's really simple on this build. Nothing complicated like in the Night of the Eclipse. Alright guys, I think I will leave you with the information I've given you so far, and I think there's not much more to talk about. Thanks for watching, thanks for the subscribes, and yeah, I will see you in the next video, and have a good one. Best of luck guys.